I am Desiree Hadley.
And I'm Crystal Rosa.
And welcome to another episode of Hold the Line with Mayor Baraka. Mayor, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. So today we're going to, of course, touch on the COVID-19. We're going to have a check-in on that. We're going to talk about the children and the youth going back to school yesterday, the aftermath of Tropical Storm Ida, the Small Business Assistance Program coming up this Friday. There's another launch coming. But so let's talk about COVID-19. So according to your Facebook Live update as of Friday, September 3rd, our 3-day rolling average test positivity rate was 4.50%. Our 7-day rolling average is at 4.10%. These numbers are slightly down from the 5% we did see over the summer. Should we expect these numbers to continue to decline?
Well, I think as more people get vaccinated, the numbers should continue to go down. And not just in Newark, though, people have to be getting vaccinated around this area and in the state, in the country, because it all affects one another. So, but the more we get vaccinated, the safer we'll make our community.
Are you thinking of putting other COVID restrictions in the city of Newark, or is there anything that any other city is doing that has caught your attention?
No, I mean, no. There are cities that are making restrictions now because they're in a lot worse shape than we are throughout the country. Nothing in New Jersey. I think that, despite us going up, we are in fairly good shape. We still are worried about this Delta variant because it is very highly contagious, and people are getting it more rapidly than before. But we have been maintaining ourselves through this difficult time.
All right, so 50% of Newark residents 12 and up are fully vaccinated, and 70% 12 and up has received at least one shot. This is great news. Should we be still optimistic about the possibility of herd immunity here in Newark?
So, yep, so the number is actually like 56% of folks 12 and up are vaccinated, and 72%
so we up
12 and up are have at least one shot, which is good. And we still want to be hopeful about the fact that more people are going to get vaccinated, and that we can reach a place where we could, completely eradicate this from our community. We are attached to other communities, though, and so we always have to be. This is not like a selfish thing, which is always you go down to individuals, whether they want to be vaccinated as an individual or not. You also have to go to communities, right? So Newark, Irvington, East Orange. I mean, those are really the same city. So Irvington's rate, East Orange's rate, all those affect us.
Mayor, as we're recording this right now, there's a protest going on outside with the police and fire union protesting the vaccination mandate. You've written an op-ed on the very subject. You've written a letter to the Newark Fire Union on where you stand on the matter. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, it's just they have a right to protest. It's just unfortunate that they're on the wrong side of this. I think it has a lot to do with who's telling them to be vaccinated more than them being vaccinated. I think the rank and file police officers are getting vaccinated. Rank and file fire officers are getting vaccinated because they're trying to protect themselves and their family. When you're a public service person, like, you are held to a higher standard than everybody else. You deal with the public. I in my office, came across an individual who tested positive. That same day, I interacted with senior citizens, at least 100 of them. I interacted with young children. I interacted with so many people. By myself, I could have been a super spreader. Thank God I was negative, and my office and the folks and my family was negative. And it gives me, pause to think that what if I wasn't vaccinated as well? And the ability to spread it like that, particularly if you're a public servant, because you come in contact with so many people. Police officers have to rescue people. Fire officers give people mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. They pull people from homes. They touch people. They talk to people. They could spread not only the virus in the community, but amongst themselves. And with this Delta variant, if many of them get sick, then that affects our ability to fight crime in the city. That's why the military has made it mandatory for soldiers as a matter of national security. And if they can do that as a matter of national security, then locally, we should be figuring out what we need to do for police and fire, because it's a matter of local security.
All right, so students went back to school yesterday here in Newark. For in-person instruction, the schools have assured parents that there's still cleaning, temperature checks, mask requirements in the schools, but there are still some parents who are afraid of the risk that it poses.
Absolutely.
So what else do you think can be done to reassure parents that their kids will be safe this school year?
That's a tough one, man. Listen, parents are already have high anxiety first day of school, period. From kindergarten, nursery on up. I mean, this year, the anxiety is probably through the roof. And, the only thing that you really can do is, one, make sure the people in the building are vaccinated, right? So parents feel like people are vaccinated, right? That's number one. You're taking care of my kid. Same argument with the police and fire. You're taking care of my kid. I want to make sure that you're safe, that you're vaccinated, that you're negative, all of that, and that you have serious protocols in place. And I think the more people communicate with the parents, the more their anxieties ease. And I think it's up to the schools and the school district, whether it's charter or public. They have to communicate with parents regularly to make sure that they, all their questions and concerns are answered.
Mayor, this pandemic has, upended our daily lives, our routines, and I'm wondering, from an educator's perspective, from a father's perspective, how does one talk to children and raise them in this new normal so that they have happy, healthy childhoods?
I mean, that's a rough one because you're asking kids to wear masks. My son is growing up wearing a mask. He don't know what the heck is going on. He takes my mask and put it over my face. Like he knows it's supposed to be over my face. He does that all the time. And honestly, you're just going to have more conversations with them. And then the more opportunity you get to spend time with your children, in a loving, carefree, playful environment, you should, right? To ease their anxiety like adults. They see all of this stuff going on. It affects them. Everybody's acting different. A lot of things are going on. They don't understand. So either you're going to explain it to them, or you're going to have to spend some serious quality time with them to get them through this. I mean, that's the only thing, care and concern.
Yeah. All right, so the superintendent, Roger Leone, mentioned on your podcast that if a positive case of COVID is reported in a school, then necessary precautions will be taken, such as the school being closed down for a period of time. Should parents be ready to accept the possibility of remote learning again if necessary?
I think you should always be ready for that. You never know what's going to happen. By the grace of God, we don't have to do that. If your school, some schools have already done that in Newark. Some charter schools have already had some issues and they shut down for a couple of days. And so you need to be prepared if that's the case, because that's what's going to have to happen to make sure that your kid is safe, that the school is safe, that they're going to have to shut it down for a couple of days.
Moving along now to the aftermath of the tropical storm Ida. First, I want to thank the Newark Fire and Police Divisions, as well as the Office of Emergency Management, who last week rescued 485 people who were trapped in floods due to the storm. Fortunately, we had no deaths or injuries reported. Unfortunately, 27 lives were lost statewide. And this makes Ida one of the state's deadliest storms. Mayor, was there any damage in the city?
Oh, it was definitely damage in the city. As a matter of fact, I think because we did the FEMA walkthrough yesterday, that Essex County, and thank the county executive for leading the way on this, may be a county that will begin to get resources because of this storm, which is a good thing because people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in property damage in business, homes, cars. All of these things became a problem here. And there were places in Newark that flooded that never flood, which means, the rain was just a dense rainstorm, came down very fast and very hard at one period of time, which overwhelmed the system, which would overwhelm any system, as a matter of fact. So especially with a place like Newark with impervious surface, meaning that we are all hard surfaces, nothing to absorb the rain and the water. We don't have much, and so there's nowhere for the rain to go. It sits there, right? And we next to the Passaic. So the Passaic, the tide rises in the Passaic. The water is coming out. It's going to come back because there's nowhere for it to go, and that's what we experience. And if you live below the water table, you're going to get some flooding. And the interesting thing is places that were not below the water table got serious flooding. Highways, parkways, throughways, everything.
That's crazy. All right, so as Crystal did mention, Newark did not experience any deaths, thankfully, due to the flood, but it was a historical level to flooding.
Yes.
And the amount of flooding that we did experience in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we don't normally see here on the East Coast. So what can we do in the future to prevent the type of damage that people did see with their homes, businesses, and how could we properly prepare for something such as that in the future where it's not something we typically experience?
And we got a tornado that ripped apart people's
Right.
homes in New Jersey. The first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather is getting worse. We're getting these 100-year storms every other year. Climate change is real. These things are happening, and we have to have a resiliency plan. States and cities are talking about resiliency and money to help. So people are talking about infrastructure, right? So it's more than just infrastructure, obviously. So you can fix all of the piping, you can do everything that you need to do, clean off the catch basins. But when a storm happens that hard and that fast, and when it's a hurricane or a tornado, the damage is almost inevitable. Right, what we have to do is try to limit the amount of damage. Make sure we can preserve life and people are not dying in these situations. And we have to make sure that we build in the cities, especially cities that are next to water, in a way that the water is not backing up and flooding. We can change our combined sewer overflow system that we have in the city of Newark. We have to create more pervious surfaces in our community, meaning we have to create more rain gardens, opportunities for places for the rain to go and not just on the ground. We need more of those surfaces in Newark. We need a stormwater management plan, which the city has, but we need to enact it, right? There's always issue about the cost of it and what the taxpayers are going to have to pay. But ultimately, we're going to have to figure this out, and it is going to be costly. The city has already spent like $40 million just repairing sewer lines and pipes. And obviously, with a storm of this magnitude or anything harder than that, there's nothing you can do but find a place for the water to go.
You said FEMA was here yesterday, and
Yes.
Essex County was not included in the FEMA aid. So do you think that's going to change now?
We did a great walkthrough yesterday with our guys at OEM, DPW, Water Department, as well as other cities in the county, led by the county executive. And I think that, as a matter of fact, we got notice that, they're sending it up to the president. They spoke to the president of the United States, who was also in New Jersey at the time. He got an opportunity to listen and hear these things. So I'm confident that Newark and Essex County will be added to the resources that's coming.
Okay, moving right along to the Small Business Assistant Program. This Friday, September 10th, we are launching our next round of help for Newark small businesses that have lost money due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes home-based businesses and startups. We are funding this program with $2 million from the American Rescue Plan. How did the latest round of this program work out?
Well, we had a couple of rounds actually, and they went well. The problem is there's so many businesses in the town, so everybody didn't get any money, which is why we have to make sure people don't get money twice. Some people did. We have to go back, take that money and give it to somebody else, because there's so many businesses, and we want to make sure that people get a little bit of something to take care of them in this difficult time period. And so a lot of our businesses are single sole proprietorships, 4 or 5 employees, and we try to make sure we cover those, even household businesses, home-based businesses. So we're doing this again, and we may have another launch after this one.
For more information about this emergency aid for Newark small businesses, please go to newarkcovid19.com.
That's all we have time for. Was there anything you wanted to speak on freely, anything on your mind that you wanted to?
No, I just think people need to get vaccinated. And, all of this talk about not being vaccinated, at this point, tens of millions of people have taken vaccines, tens of millions. And the death rate from COVID is extremely higher than anybody who has passed away from any of these vaccines. So, it's just common sense now to make our community safe. If we ever want to go outside again and do the things that we've been doing, we need to get rid of this thing and get vaccinated.
Right. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for watching.